In this video, the Andean Community of Countries, what it is and what benefits it offers. This is one of those secret benefits to passports and different citizenships around the world that most people are not aware of. The Andean Community, it's basically like a trade bloc similar to the European Union, but one that exists in South America. And in this video, we're going to go more into detail about what it is, what benefits you get, and so forth. So, welcome back to the channel, My Latin Life. If you're new here, I'm Vance, and I'm all about exploring the different regions of Latin America, understanding international organizations, and discovering the benefits they offer to you and to the member countries and citizens of these countries. Because if you're watching this, you're probably interested in residency in different countries, citizenship in different countries, maybe citizenship by descent, and some of the benefits that you can look forward to. So today we're going to dive into something really interesting, the Andean Community of Countries. You may have heard of it in passing, but what exactly is it and what benefits does it provide? Stick around to find out. So let's start with the basics. What is the Andean Community? Officially known as the Comunidad Andina, or CAN for short, this is a regional integration organization made up of 4 South American countries: Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru. The Andean Community was established in 1969 with the signing of the Cartagena Agreement, aimed to promote economic, social, and political cooperation and integration between its member states. But it's not just about economics. The Andean Community also works on a wide range of issues, including trade, security, environment, and culture, all with the goal of fostering closer ties between these neighboring countries. Essentially, it's about creating a shared space where these countries can collaborate more effectively for the benefit of their citizens. And perhaps most importantly, it gives you rights in the different countries. So if you have a Colombian passport, you actually get rights in Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia. If you're Bolivian, you get rights in Ecuador, Peru, and Colombia, meaning someone from Colombia could, say, move to Ecuador much easier than, say, a Canadian can because of the Andean Community and the ties there and the benefits that brings. So before we get into the benefits in more detail, let's kind of start with the brief history and evolution of the Andean Community. So to really understand the Andean Community, it's really helpful to take a quick look at its history. The organization began as the Andean Pact, a response to the desire for greater economic integration and development in the region. Over the years, the Andean Pact evolved and the Andean Community was born in 1996. This change wasn't just about rebranding, it reflected a broader and deeper commitment to integration beyond just economic aspects, including social, cultural, and political cooperation. Throughout its history, the Andean Community has had its challenges, including differing economic policies among member nations and external economic pressures. However, the organization has remained resilient, adapting to changes and continuing to push forward with its integration agenda. Today, the Andean Community is recognized as one of the key regional organizations in Latin America. Now let's talk about some of the core objectives and areas of cooperation. So now that we know what the Andean Community is and how it came to be, let's talk about its core objectives and the areas where member countries collaborate. The primary goal of the Andean Community is to provide balanced and harmonious development among its member states. This is achieved through coordinated policies that aim to reduce disparities in development levels and to create a more equitable distribution of resources. One of the key areas of cooperation is economic integration. This includes efforts to create a free trade area, listen closely guys, free trade area among member countries, which allows for the free movement of goods, services, capital, and people. Another important area is social integration, where the Andean Community works on issues such as labor rights, education, and healthcare, aiming to improve the quality of life for all its citizens. In addition, the Andean Community also focuses on environmental protection, recognizing the unique biodiversity of the Andes region and the need for sustainable development practices. Security is another area of collaboration, with the member states working together to address common challenges such as drug trafficking and border security. Cultural integration is also a priority, with initiatives to preserve and promote the rich cultural heritage of the Andean peoples. Let's get into the benefits for member countries. So what are the benefits of being part of the Andean community? Let's break it down. First, there are significant economic benefits. The creation of a free trade area among member states means that goods and services can move more freely across borders, reducing tariffs and boosting trade within the region. This not only helps businesses grow by expanding their markets, but also benefits consumers through access to a wider range of products at more competitive prices. Another major benefit is the free movement of people. This is probably the number one thing you might be interested in this video if you're watching this. At least it kind of was for me. So citizens of member countries can travel, live, and work in any of the other member states without the need for a visa. This opens up opportunities for employment, education, and cultural exchange, making it easier for people to pursue their dreams across borders. This is huge, guys. This means that if you have Colombian citizenship, you could move to, say, Ecuador or Bolivia to lower your taxes, to start a business, to work for a different company. So many different benefits. So for the internationally minded individual, which you probably are if you're listening to this, you got to understand how having one of these Andean community passports really unlocks the whole region and unlocks this whole trade block for you. So when you think of a Colombian passport, don't just think of Colombia, think of the entire Colombian trade block. Or Peru, which has one of the fastest paths to citizenship in the world, only 2 years. Well, if you do 2 years in Peru to become a Peruvian citizen, you get that Peruvian passport, now you can freely move to Colombia or freely move to Ecuador, right? Which could be a lot, like, it's huge, it's huge. So let's keep moving. Social benefits are also substantial. The Andean community works on harmonizing social policies, which helps improve healthcare, education, and social security systems across the region. For example, agreements within the Andean community can provide citizens with access to healthcare services in other member countries, which is particularly beneficial for those living in border areas. Environmental cooperation is another crucial benefit. The Andean community facilitates joint efforts to protect the region's unique ecosystems, addressing issues like deforestation, climate change, and conservation of biodiversity. These collaboration efforts are essential for ensuring sustainable development in a region that is home to some of the world's most diverse and fragile ecosystems. Finally, there are cultural benefits. The Andean community promotes the preservation and celebration of the rich cultural heritage of the Andes, including indigenous languages, traditions, and festivals. This not only helps to strengthen cultural identity, but also fosters a sense of shared community among the people of the region. Now let's talk about kind of the challenges and the future of the Andean community. Of course, no international organization is without its challenges, and the Andean community is no exception. One of the main challenges has been balancing the diverse economic and political priorities of its member states. For instance, different approaches to trade and economic policies can sometimes create friction. Additionally, external factors such as global economic shifts and trade agreements with other regions can impact the dynamics within the Andean community. Despite these challenges, the Andean community continues to evolve and adapt. The future looks promising, with ongoing efforts to deepen integration and expand cooperation into new areas. There's also the potential for the Andean community to play a larger role in the broader context of Latin American regional integration, possibly collaborating more closely with organizations such as Mercosur or even exploring partnerships beyond the continent. Mercosur, by the way, is another trade bloc similar to the Andean Community, and countries like Colombia are actually part of both. So if you have a passport from one of these countries, you would have access to the Andean Community and also the Mercosur. The success of the Andean Community in the coming years will likely depend on its ability to remain flexible and responsive to both the needs of its member states and the changing global landscape. If it can do that, the Andean Community will continue to be a valuable platform for cooperation and development in the region. So there you have it, folks, a closer look at the Andean Community of countries and the many benefits it offers, from economic integration and free movement to social and environmental cooperation. The Andean Community plays a vital role in shaping the future of its member states. And do me a favor, next time you meet someone from one of these countries, ask them about the Andean Community, if they've benefited from it in the past, if they're aware of it, if they're aware that they could, go to university in another member country, if they're aware that some of these things. And actually, if you look at the passports of the Andean Community, it says Comunidad Andina on the passport, like literally on the front of the passport book. So it is something that's pretty first and foremost, like it's something that's pretty prominent. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content on international organizations, regional cooperation, freedom of movement, passport benefits, and all these hacks within Latin America that most people really aren't talking about. As always, if you have any questions or thoughts, drop them in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.